Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Kathy, and I'm on the Team Passion call, and we're going to talk about our challenges and struggles of why we're not um, being consistent in the business. And it's so if you guys have been following Nicole or myself, you know that since July we've kind of really had a tough time, with lots of stuff going on. And I was really good and consistent and had some good motivation going up until July. And once we went to Disney, and I always say this, so it's probably a mindset thing that oh, when I go on vacation, I lose it, and it takes me so long to get back, my mojo. and that and then with my mom getting sick, and I'm a very organized and structured person, and I haven't been able to get back to that, so that is kind of another challenge that I have. But I was in the car last week, or actually I think it was Friday or Thursday, I can't remember, but I was talking with Nicole, and I'm like, I don't know why it's so hard for me to invite. I don't know why I struggle with that. I I know everything I need to do. I have all the tools, the resources, and I've been at this for so long. I go to all the events, and I know it. I know what I'm supposed to do. And I do everything except for the inviting. That is always the last thing. I write it every day on my to-do list, but that's what I need to do. And for some reason, I just end up always doing everything else but. And and I'm like, why? I don't even understand why I can't do it. It's just, I said, I'm infuriated with myself because I don't know why. I don't understand why I can't do it. So I wrote some notes here just to kind of go over, but so I always do my best thinking when I'm driving, and I seem to be doing a lot of that lately. And I'm like, oh, I need something to record, because if I don't write it down or I don't record it, I lose my thought. But one of the things that I was thinking of today when I was driving was, what is my struggle? What is really my struggle with inviting? And it's my confidence or my lack of. I've always dealt with that. That's always been my weakness. And like I never felt that I was good enough, or, I'm afraid of people judging me if I invite them. But if I take the pressure off and I just talk to people and I share what I love about Shakeology or working out, I'm fine. But for some reason, I just put the pressure on, and it just makes it worse. But an example that I had was, because I try to figure out what's the difference between when you work a 9-to-5 job and you have a boss versus working for yourself, other than being your own CEO. And one of the things I think for me is I always did good when I was praised for a job well done. I always, like if I did a project and I did a good job, and my boss would say, oh, you're so good at this, such a great job. So it always kind of got me going, and it always made me, want to do better and be better. And so I think when you have your own business like this, I think the only thing that kind of, well, for me, is your challenges. When you hear from your challenges, and they say that, thank you so much for not giving up on me. I'm doing so well. That's kind of like the praise compared to working in a 9-to-5. So if you don't have a lot of challenges or a lot of people that are, do that, I think you kind of, when you get that lull, you just feel defeated. Does that make sense? I mean, for me anyways, that's kind of how I try to rationalize it for me. And I heard something interesting today too, and it was, you have to accept yourself for who you are and where you are right now at this point in your life, because you're not a finished product. And you have to accept your failures. You have to be okay with that, and know that by failing that it's teaching you something and you're going to be better at it. And then, so for me, where the challenge is my mindset and learning the positive self-talk, and just learning how to share by just talking about what I do, and how much I love it and how much it's changed my life, and not worry about the outcome. Because I find that when I do that, when I'm just having conversations and I don't put any pressure on myself, I have a better connection with people. And so I write down my to-do list, and I changed my, I said, what, I used to have this big to-do list. I'm going to do this, but you know what I write every day? I just want to do my workout, drink my shake, and talk to five people a day. And even if I only talk to one person a day, I will take that, and get better and work more on it. But to just get in that consistent habit of just those three things every single day, that's all I focus on. I just can't give myself that kind of pressure with these, meeting certain goals and not reaching them. So I've just kind of just taken a step back and just doing the best that I can every single day. So that's my 10-minute spiel.
Awesome, Kathy. No, that's good. Thank you. I think that probably most of us can relate to that, like knowing we have to make this business work, we have to do A, B, C, and D, the 4 vital behaviors, and just getting through that sometimes can be hard, and life gets in the way. And,
Right.
especially like you said, coming out of a job, so my story is that I was a behavior specialist. I was a teacher, working for 16 years in that field. And I sent my son to daycare when he was 3 months old. And then every day from 3 months old to 2 years, I was still heartbroken. I just wanted to be home with him. And so that was so hard for me. And my husband's a teacher, so I didn't see any way to stay home. I just was envious of the moms that I saw in the school. How can they be there with their kids? So I was used to that full-time job, even though it's a teaching job. I ended up spending time at home doing reports and all that. So when I saw this opportunity, my why was really strong. And that's one thing I'm thinking that people tend to forget. We get so wrapped up in the day-to-day, why do we want this business and what do we need it for? Because when I figured out that Beachbody coaching could be the answer for me, that I could stay home. I did a whole year working full time, come home from school, put my son to bed, and then I would just, stay up and do whatever it took. So I definitely worked that full year knowing that I had that goal. And I looked at Nicole, I looked at other coaches and knew that if they could do it, I could do it. So I think that's one thing to definitely think about when you kind of get that, I'm not sure, I know I need to talk to more people. Remember why you're doing it and what you're doing it for. So yeah, after that full year, I stay home with my kids now. I had another baby, so I'm staying home with both of them, and been doing that for almost 2 years. I took a leave of absence from work and then was able to make enough to do it. So that was cool. But I have obstacles too. So now I stay at home. I have a 3-year-old and 1-year-old, and I know that time is a huge issue for people. A lot of us are moms, or if we're not moms, we're busy. We might have another job. So finding the time is really essential. And then so that's a big obstacle. And I'm just gonna look over at some of the notes too. So yeah, I think that being your own boss and having the self-discipline to kind of put that time aside and then know you needed to get it done is huge. So things like the business activity tracker can help you with that. I just found a new app on my phone. I can share it on the team page. It's just checking off the things you need to get done. Because sometimes you're like, oh yeah, I want this business to work. And then it's 10 o'clock at night and you're tired and you never got to it. So making sure you set that time aside, whether it's at business hours or if you're working in pockets of time, making sure you check those things off, because those 4 vital behaviors are vital for a reason, and it's going to make or break your business. So consistency and doing those vital behaviors are huge for your business. So time can be an issue. So one big thing that's helped me in like for invites and for, business invites or even challenge group invites is personal development. So Eat That Frog's a good one. Kathy, have you read Eat That Frog yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. For just like doing the hard things first. So if you're like, well, I want to work on my like page and I want to do this and I need to change my challenge group photo, like these are things I do to get in the way of what's important sometimes. So then I'm like, all right, eat the frog. So I'm going to go out, talk to 5 new people, invite 5 people to challenge, invite a couple people to the business. Just make sure those are the behaviors that are going to get done. And then to reward yourself, then you can go and do the pretty pictures and stuff. But try to make sure you're doing those things first. But so another one, like this business is a huge roller coaster. Mm-hmm. So some of you are starting out, some of you are already into it. And, sometimes the ups and downs can be tough. You're like, you got a couple new coaches and they're excited to work. And then they tell you they don't want to work anymore. And then you get a couple more challengers and they say they're going to do what they're going to do, or they return the challenge back. So like that's tough to overcome too. Those kinds of things that get you excited and then it brings you down again. So personal development is huge and like definitely essential. Like all the top coaches will tell you that that's like crucial for your business. It's one of the vitals. But so Entrepreneur Roller Coaster by Darren Hardy is one of my favorites. Compound Effect by Darren Hardy is awesome, but Entrepreneur Roller Coaster is really cool too, because it kind of talks about, haters and the obstacles that you have to overcome and that kind of thing. And I just like Darren Hardy. So yeah. Again, this business can provide you with so much more than, people talk about with this business. It can provide for your family. It can help you get healthy and fit. It can help you with, being able to support, they have that second stream of revenue, but also like for confidence, like for me, I was just thinking about it today, like out in the grocery store or wherever I am, like I can talk to anyone now. And before this is almost my 3rd year now, I would really shy away, or I'd like automatically think bad things about people, like, oh, what are they looking at me funny, or this person's doing this, or so I always felt that way. But I feel like through personal development, through surrounding myself with all the positivity, through Team Passion, through my own team that's building, it's changed me a lot. So, this business has so many more like positives in it. So think about that as you're thinking about going on with it. Like, okay, well, if you don't need the money as much right now, or you're like, I don't really know what my why is. If you want to improve or become a better person in a lot of ways, learn how to be more confident, learn how to speak in front of people, those kinds of things. This business can help you a lot. So commit to being here a year from now, 2 years from now. It definitely can help you in more ways than one. So one thing I wanted to say, that if you're on this call, then you're probably committed to improving your business, to taking it to the next level, to reach those goals that you set. So I feel like most people, especially presidential debates on, and history is being made, but you're still here in the call. So you're committed, you're dedicated and driven. So one thing I would say is just write down your why. So I tell my health and fitness challengers this, to write down their why, put it up somewhere, put it on your mirror, put it somewhere in your house. And so you can keep seeing it and keep being reminded, because that why is going to be huge for your motivation. So yeah, I mean, if anyone else wanted to say, like, to mention any other obstacles, like I think about time is definitely an obstacle, the no's and the rejection and the haters. I did want to just mention that when I did start, I had a hater. I had a few haters, definitely, and I still do. But one of them was my brother, and one of them was like a woman I worked closely with at work. And they both commented on one of my posts like, oh, can you take this ad down? And I wasn't great with my Facebook posts back then, but I would put something like T25. I had like the photo, the stock photo or something. It's like, please remove this ad. And, we really don't want to see this on Facebook. And it was like really hurtful to me. So I had talks with both of them, and this woman from work who commented, she's like, I really just want to see pictures of your kids. And I was like, well, this is my business, and this is my Facebook page is about me and what I'm doing. And it's, I'm not just my children. I'm not just a reflection of my kids. So I'm a lot more than that. So I ended up just telling her that she could defriend me from Facebook. And so she did. But, like that's going to happen to a lot of us. I think it happens to everyone. So don't let that derail you. And I feel like getting through those hurdles and getting past that, knowing that like when you have haters, it's usually just because they're jealous, because they, like there was that quote that Nicole put up, like they came from the same place as you and here you are now. Or, so my brother and I have always been competitive, and I think he's like a little mad that I have this freedom where he's working like 6 a.m. till 7 p.m. and not able to see his kids. But the opportunity is available to everyone. But yeah, so he still makes comments and all that, but he's my older brother, so that's what he does. I don't know. Does anyone else have haters?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Any other obstacles you want us to address? Robert, you had a comment. If you want to chime in, Robert, go ahead.
Oh, I was just throwing up the concept of eat that frog since you had mentioned it for anyone that didn't know it.
Yeah.
But actually something about, so this past weekend I was down in old Florida outside of Tampa in the woods in the swamplands with retired Lieutenant Colonel Scott Mann doing a men's leadership training. It was intense. It was really intense. But you were talking about the haters, and he was talking about a concept of where you're like punching above your weight class. And that basically, once you start doing that, you're basically changing the status quo. And people don't like when you change the status quo. So he was saying you're going to meet resistance, like you're saying, the haters, which are there. You're going to have basically you're holding up a mirror to them. And a lot of times they're not going to like what they see, or you're threatening their relevance in cases. Or as you said, your brother was really close. Your brother's close, so they're the ones that he's probably thinking he's helping you, trying to keep you safe because you're taking this big risk, changing the status quo, and he doesn't get it. So that's where he's coming from. Or then you just have the society, like the crabs that, if you ever heard the bucket of crabs, when one tries to get out, they just pull you all back down. Just when you mess with the status quo, people don't like it. And that's from a clan mentality back a million years of human instinct taking effect where our society in America and other, first world nations and whatnot is a contract society where, the individual has freedoms, and it's all about the individual in a good way, not in a bad way. But old school, how humans have been for the, for 190,000 years of recent human evolution, they've been all clan-based, tribal-based, and everything's about the group. It's not about the individual. So if an individual does something outside the group, they're shunned, they're killed, they're disowned, and they have to go fend for themselves. So it's where when you upset the status quo, you're breaking, a little under 200,000 years of human instincts. So that's just realize it's not you, it's the people around you feeling, that their primitive instincts are kicking in, and that's how they're reacting.
Feeling threatened, yeah. Well, that's good. That's interesting information.
Yeah, it was a very interesting weekend.
Awesome.
But
Yeah.
also along the line.
Dive in.
What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I feel like I covered all my notes. So if you want to go next, you can
Okay, cool.
that.
I didn't really know what I was going to talk about along the lines, but I'm going to elaborate on some of the things that Kathy has covered with her, as we started calling it this weekend, was like head chatter, basically getting your mind right. And a guy named David Martin was speaking at the event, and he's dug into this big. He actually trains corporate leaders, the CEO of Capital, for example, on this kind of stuff. And he was telling us basically we're constantly living in what he calls the triangle of torment, which at the very top of the triangle, it's not like the not great, the I suck voice, where you're always telling yourself like, I suck, I can't do this, it's not going to happen or whatever. Like you're just telling yourself you suck at it. Then you have the not you, basically where you're comparing yourself to other people. So this is where you look at someone where you don't know their story or where they've been, but you look at them and you're like, man, that's not going to be me. That's not, you compare yourself, it just brings yourself down. So you just get in your own way with that. And then there's the not done. So where basically you might be making good progress, but you feel like your goal, you're not going to get there. It's the I'm never going to make it voice. And the thing to realize, especially this is something that was kind of clicked for me a bit too, is everyone goes through this. It doesn't matter who you are. You're always there. Even the people that are out there go through it. I'm sure, Nicole probably goes through it. I know Scott Mann said he lives there. That's where he is all the time. But the difference is the people that don't let them affect it have separated their basically have separated your heart, like how you feel, and your thoughts, or separate what you, it's to help create separation between basically what you want to do and what your thoughts are telling you. And more or less you have to replace your old habits with a new one. And something that he said helps is to center yourself, have some sort of thing. Like Scott Mann had said, he has a daily ritual where he does 4 or 5 different things, and whenever he starts getting stuck in the triangle, he goes back to that and he just recenters himself. He's like, all right, cool, I'm good, and lets it go. And usually those thoughts in your head pass and they come in 90-second intervals. They actually had a psychologist there at the event the entire time for us to talk to if we wanted to and whatnot. Works with a lot of PTSD coming back and uses story to help soldiers come back and even go back to war, help them get right. So he was there and he was talking about how it's 90-second intervals. And a simple one that someone else had thrown out there was just saying the mantra when you start getting in this mindset of I can, I am, and I will. Mm-hmm. And just repeat that to yourself for, 30, 40, 90 seconds, and then it usually passes with that time. So that was something I'm starting very shortly to work with David's program. So once I start that, it's a 5-week program. I'll actually do an in-depth, or we can do a video or a call or something, and I'll tell you how that went, because that's what he uses for his corporate leaders to train with. So that was one of the big takeaways of the weekend, for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm sure people will be interested. If you want to share it on the sure, it'd be good. Welcomed on the team page. Very
Robert, that's one of the things that I do every single day. That's part of my daily routine. When I wake up in the morning, I have 6 or 7 different things. I have my affirmations, my personal mantra, and some other things, and I say them out loud every single morning. And that gets my mind right in the beginning, but then with everything with my mom, it's just kind of like my day hasn't been gone the way that it usually does, because that's what sets precedence over how my day's going to be. I mean, I do that self-talk, but lately it's been challenging to believe that, what I'm saying.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, just try to use that to recenter yourself. So you say it in the morning, but that tap into that later in the day when something kicks into you. It's not just, I guess they kind of say it's like, it's not just a one-time thing in the morning. Like, you get your day right, but, you know, shit always hits the fan at some point in some aspect. So go back to that, kind of recenter yourself, restart your day, so to speak.
Yeah, I think that, like, I know a lot of people like to do journaling too. Journaling's helped me for years and years, and I have like blockages with that too sometimes. But journaling, like meditation, the affirmations, and then like all what you're saying, that can all help in the business too, because sometimes we get this block and we're like, well, why aren't I doing what I need to do for this or that? Or it's kind of something's holding us back. So we have to like bring it out in different ways. So
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you want to, let's hand it over to Cheryl so she can talk before we're done for the night. So.
Right, before I lose everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm Sharla O'Malley. For people that don't know me, I'm considered the crazy one out of the group. So if you see me and follow my posts, you see that I'm crazy because I have crazy kids. So, and definitely an obstacle is, like Green said, is the kids and time management. And when I was working full time, I actually I was more organized with my invite in my business. And now that I'm home, I'm like all over the place. So my big obstacle right now is, well, some of it is consistency in the invites, but also time management. I'm still trying to figure it out with a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old on when to do things. My kids hardly ever sleep, so I hardly ever sleep. So I'm always doing things like 1 o'clock in the morning. I might be doing my PD. It's my mind and my brain is all over the place. So eventually I need to focus and get more organized, and eventually I know that will come. So, but what I kind of wanted to talk about tonight is how to post on social media and how important it is to post on social media, and being consistent about it. And then also how to share your story and overcoming the fear of sharing your story. I know that a lot of us have this sort of fear of being an open book, but honestly, we kind of have to be an open book for people to relate to us and get to know us as coaches and as people as well, so they can trust us. So what you want to do on Facebook is you should be posting about 3 to 5 times a day. One should be about, Beachbody health and fitness. Usually what I do is I'll post a video of me working out with my crazy kids in the background, and then talk about my struggle or my success about my workout that day. And then the other post should be about, miscellaneous personal stuff. For example, I post stuff about my kids because I'm a mom. So it's a lot of posts about being a mom and a stay-at-home mom and even struggling as a stay-at-home mom. But I know that people post pictures of their pets and all that good stuff. But the importance of posting about, when you post about health and fitness and about Beachbody and being a coach, just always make sure it's public, because you want people to be able to see. And then those people are friends of those people, and those friends of people, if they comment and like, they can see it too. And then it brings you up to the top of the news feed. So you always want to make it public when you post about your health and fitness. And if you want to, do it privately about your personal life, that's fine. But there has to be a fine balance between that though too, because again, you want people to get to know who you are, and so they can trust you when you go and, share an invite or post about, your challenge group or whatever. They'll be able to trust you. So what I usually do is, and this is just kind of a template of what people might do. You can, change it up and do whatever, but so for Mondays, you can do a post about like the business or just about being a coach, or maybe, somebody, a challenger sent you a message and how excited you are because they can fit into a pair of pants and you are part of their journey. Just something personable about a challenger, about your business, about you being a coach, how excited you are. And though, like I said, do maybe one. Try not to do more than 2 a day about your health and fitness or about Beachbody, unless it's a picture of food or something simple like that and you just want to share a recipe, that's fine. Tuesdays is usually, we all hear Transformation Tuesday. It could be about your own personal transformation, and I'm big on pictures showing a before and after. I know that can be scary, but again, you have to overcome that fear and share yourself, because people are going to relate seeing your story about where you started with a Beachbody program and then where you are now, because they want to see success. They want to see you succeed. And if they see you succeeding as a mom, as a full-time worker, or whatever it is, then they're like, okay, well, I should be able to do that too. You know, I'm making excuses. If they can do it, I can do it. So it's always good to do that. You don't always want to have to share your story every Tuesday for transformation. I mean, Carl always, you know, posts transformation stories. If you follow like 21 Day Fix, or, you know, they always show transformation stories. You know, we have our challenge winners that, you know, those type of things. You can share that every each week on a Tuesday. And then Wednesday, you can talk about your own personal success or even your struggles. You know, even like you could say, oh my God, I feel sluggish because I had, you know, 5 slices of pizza, which I actually just had 3. So that's really bad for me. But, you know, you just share about your struggles or even about your success. You know, again, you want to share something personal about yourself. Thursday, we get paid, you know, Beachbody pays us. So you can, you know, share a post about that, and it doesn't have to be a dollar amount. You don't want to share what you're making, but you just say, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I get paid for helping people with their health and fitness journey, along with just helping myself. You know, just get personal about that, but be excited about why you're a Beachbody coach and that you actually get paid for it. Friday, you know, you can ask one of your challengers if you could share one of their success stories. Always sharing somebody else's success is fun. And then ask them, though, if you can tag them, because if you can personalize it, that's, you know, even better. So make sure you always ask for that permission, and then you can tag them, and then their friends can see the kind of success they're having too. Saturday could be maybe about a Shakeology post. I usually post crazy pictures of my kids stealing my Shakeology, because in true life they do, which is exciting because they like something healthy for once. So, you know, make it personable. Like for me, Shakeology has, you know, changed my life, because I had severe case of IBS, and I'd have episodes every single day for 7 to 8 years. And then since, you know, I've been drinking Shakeology for 2 years now, I've probably maybe had 10, you know, episodes that haven't even been nearly severe as what they used to be. So talk about how Shakeology has, you know, what has it done for you? And you know, and you can, like for me, I try to be funny, but I also try to post pictures, because pictures or videos always attract more people. And then Sunday, I might do like a motivational quote in the morning, talk about maybe meal prep, because I know a lot of days, Sunday's a good day for meal prepping. You can talk about that, share a picture of how you prepped your meal. Or even, like, I know Sundays is a good day to goal write. You know, you write your goals down, share some of your goals with people, and just talk about, you know, these are my goals, and now here's my action steps. Be a little open about it. It could be scary sharing your goals, but you know what? It just brings everything to light. Like, people can see, wow, you know, she is a real person. She has goals just like I do, you know, and talk about that. And that kind of like segments into talking about your struggles, about your challenges, and sharing your story. You know, I know that it is scary to share something very personal about yourself. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about how to overcome that fear about sharing your story. So when I first started, I really hardly ever posted on Facebook. It was a little post here and there. And once I had kids, I posted about my kids, but I never really talked about me personally. And so at first I would just talk about my challenges or struggles about maybe just working out, just little snippets and something basic about it. You know, like I didn't work out today because my kids didn't sleep and now I feel sluggish, or, you know, I struggled through that workout. I had to take like 10 breaks, you know, during my workout. Just something simple and basic just to get people to see, okay, she's a real person too. Like, yeah, she's a coach, but she struggles too. So she's just like me. And then what you would want to do really is, I think Sunday nights are the best night to share a personal story. People are on Facebook at that time, usually around after 7 p.m. is a great time to share a personal story. And I know it's hard to say, oh gosh, I have so many probably stories. I just don't know what to share or how to share it or how to write it. So what I usually do is first I will, write it down. I'll write down some stories about my personal life. And I mean, you don't want to, throw up and throw everything out there all at once. You don't. We all have something that we probably struggled with, and you probably don't even realize it or think about it. And you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, when I was like 10 years old, I got picked on and it really hurt me. And it changed the way that I was, from 10 till now, so you want to think about some of these things that have really touched your life and probably put you in a different direction that you were before. So I know some of the fears about sharing a story is probably like, what will people think? I know that's a big thing, like, oh my gosh, what will people think? I'm nervous that people are going to judge me on what I post. I mean, we all have a story, right? And yes, I was hesitant about sharing some personal stuff because I was afraid that I was going to hurt people's feelings, especially other family members, because obviously if it relates to me, it's probably relating to some sort of family thing that happened when I was younger. And what I did is I first did personal development because obviously, we're worried. We don't want to have to think about, oh my gosh, what are they going to think about if I post this, or how are they going to talk to me? Are they going to be mad at me? So I did personal development because obviously I need to be stronger inside and build that confidence up so I could just share my story and not care what other people think. I mean, if I could reach one person, and that's really all I was trying to do, is when I post something, I'm really just kind of talking to one person, that one person that's, like-minded like me. I'm not trying to reach a whole audience, because that's what I think what we tend to do. We want to reach a bunch of people and have a bunch of people like it and comment on it. But all I'm thinking when I'm making this post is I just want to reach that one person that can relate to me. And if other people relate to me, that's awesome. But if I could just inspire one person that can relate to me, then I know I've done my job. Another thing on how to overcome your fear too is, and I think it was mentioned, is journal. I know that we all probably have struggled with journaling at first, and maybe some people are good at it and some people aren't. What I personally do is I've been writing down my negative feelings and putting that on paper first to get it all out of my system, because I've had some haters, and I know we all have, and people have been very close to me who have really judged me and said some harsh words, and immediately I wanted to lash back, and I'm like, what am I doing? I don't want to waste my energy on them. It's not worth it. So I again and get that all out of my head and my heart, and then I will journal about all the positive things and why I'm doing this and who I actually really am. So that can help you before you go ahead and post this, your story. So I would write out my story, I would read it out loud, and once I read it out loud, how did it make me feel? Was I emotional about it? Did I cry? Did I want to throw up because I was about to post this? And if those are the answers, then yes, you want to post it. You want to post it. If you are scared out of your mind and you feel like you're going to be sick, you want to post that. It's a huge hurdle, but you're overcoming this huge fear and you're facing it head on. And that's what you need to do. You need to just face it head on and post personal stuff. And again, write out a couple of things that are in your memory bank about things that you've struggled with. write them out, read them out loud, read it to somebody in your house if you feel comfortable. Me, I just like post it. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not even gonna think about it. I'm posting it and that's it. And I, most of us, friends on Facebook, or even go on Team Passion page and say, hey, I just posted something. I'm really nervous. So many of us are going to support you and comment, and we all love each other, and it's just the community that we have. So don't be afraid to post your story, because people need to relate to you, and you need to open up, and it's going to make you feel better, and you're going to be a better person for it. But people are, honestly, most people out there are going to support you because they're like, oh my gosh, this happened to me when I was that age, or I can't believe she just posted that. You are amazing. You're making me want to do something with my life, So don't be afraid to post it. Again, do it on Sunday nights. Tell us when you're doing it. Post it in Team Passion, and we will support you and comment and give you the love that you need. Do you guys have any questions? Oh, you know what? And I just wanted to mention, if you don't follow Bo Eason, you need to, because he is really good about sharing your story. So please follow Bo Eason, Boeason. He's amazing. He used to be a Patriots football player, and now he is a public speaker, and he is really good about how to share your story, the whatnots, what you need to do, and just please follow him. Christine, yeah, you want to ask me a question?
Just unmute yourself at the bottom.
Yep, you just got to unmute. Or do you want to just type it in? Go for it. If you have multiple health issues. Oh, you want?
But
there you go.
Hi, honey. So, hi. If you have multiple health issues, how do you portray that on Facebook?
Honestly, I would obviously not just throw everything out there, but I would talk about, your struggles. So say, for me, I had IBS, so I would talk about how Shakeology has helped me. Now, depending on what your health issue is, I would say, what is helping that health issue? How are you overcoming it? Or what is that health issue doing for you? Today, did you struggle because you couldn't get your workout in because you have, fibromyalgia and it was acting up? I would slowly talk about some of those issues, and then either if you're overcoming it or you're struggling with it, be open, and then if other people, if they're having that health issue, ask people, ask an open question and say, how do you guys deal with such and such? Because getting people to comment and talk, again, will bring you up to the top of the newsfeed, but it will get you talking to people and relating to people.
Okay, because I've had people who have said to me that I talk too much about my health issues, so.
Well, obviously, this is, what you want to do is personal development. Okay, well, I'm talking about it because, number one, you want to help people and inspire people. And number two, you're just being real. Honestly, if they can't support you and love you for being real and sharing your story, then they're not in your tribe.
Right. Exactly.
Cheryl, did you go to Bo Eason's event?
Did I go to his event?
Yeah.
No, I wish. I've been following him, listening to his videos, but no, I would love to see him.
All right, so Scott Mann's worked a lot with Bo Eason. Actually, he's going to be there in 3 weeks at Bo's event that I'm going to.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I'll be there. So these two are piggybacking real nice together. They actually did a package. They did a package deal for us to do both of them at a significant discount.
That's awesome. You'll have to take some good notes and share it with us. Yeah,
but so I'll just throw in a couple things from the thing. What Scott had said about stories, because we actually worked on our stories a bit. They're sitting around a campfire telling our story, going back to the ancient ways of how tribes communicate and pass information down for years. Basically, your story, you kind of want some sort of hook to engage them, to get them to lean in so they're interested in it. And then, you share your struggle. If you don't share your struggle, people aren't, when we see the highlight reel, like, people don't connect with that. They might be like, man, that's awesome. I want those 6-pack abs, but I'm 100 pounds overweight. What does he know about that? But the struggle could have been, for the past 3 years, the dude's been working his butt off, losing 75 pounds. You can relate to that. And then you need to finish with with your success or what you're doing currently. Because we had one person share this incredible story and then didn't share the end. And so I actually asked him, I was like, so what happened? Did you ever make your workout video? And he goes, oh yeah, sorry. And Scott was at our campfire at that time. And he was like, I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were going to leave it out. And he's like, yeah, I made the tap out DVDs. Those are mine, the tap out workout. So you need all 3 parts. You need something to engage them. Then you get the struggle, which our brains thrive on. And then you have the payoff. And if you practice writing those down, just take a journal, just write stories, and then tell it to someone. Tell it to someone that's close to you. And then you'll hear things you like, you'll hear things you don't like, refine it, and then tell it again. And the more you tell it, the better it will get.
True. Exactly. Yeah. And when I talk about my struggles, and it could be from when I was 9 years old, something happened. And then, I'll kind of always tie in about how I've overcome it. And then how Beachbody had a part of it as well. I'll usually put something in related to Beachbody, because obviously Beachbody has changed my life, and I know it's probably changed everyone's lives, internally and externally. So I will always, tie Beachbody into it, towards the end, and say, into my life because, and then I would say the reason why, it's usually obviously because personal development has made me stronger to be able to tell this story to you. Meeting these awesome people, fellow, coaches that actually have lifted me up because of this, because I would have never been able to tell this story if it wasn't for all these aspects of Beachbody, something to that effect too. Anyone else? Any questions for any of us, or anything you want to share?
Get to events if you can. I've missed a few lately, and man, they make a difference. And especially go there with the mindset to be coachable and to learn when you do go to them. This event this past weekend, it was rough. It was emotional. We dug deep right off the bat. We got in groups of about 8 people. There were 40 of us there, so 8 or 9 people. And we had to share why we wanted to go there. And for me, when I shared that, it was really deep and personal, and it brought me to tears. I was crying in front of a bunch of dudes. So, go there to be prepared. I will say I've been to a bunch of events over the past 3 years, and this one has been the most impactful. I'm actually going back in March again. It's the same event, same place, back in the woods, digging deeper into, as Scott calls it, rooftop leadership.
Awesome.
Very cool. All right, we probably shouldn't keep everyone. I know I'm fading. The teething baby, she doesn't like to sleep, so. But yeah, I think we should wrap up. But if anyone has any other questions for us, definitely in the team page, and we can follow up with that. Hope it was helpful. Thanks everyone for coming on.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys. Bye.